Hey friends, Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Okay, so unless you have been in a bubble, then you have probably heard that Zeke Elliott has tested positive for Corona, um, along with apparently one other Cowboy player and some Texans players as well. And I'm sure that that's not the only players out there that have tested positive for the corona. Zeke is actually very upset that it was leaked. Um, and it wasn't by his representation. Basically, they kept getting calls. Does Zeke have corona? Does Zeke have corona? And he finally admitted, yes, he does actually have it, but it wasn't him that leaked it. And like I said, Zeke Elliott's not happy about that. So already tonight, we were having on ESPN Sports Center, they're having a discussion with all of the six major sports leagues in the United States on opening. And I'm sure that this is going to definitely kind of pop out there, knowing that Zeke Elliott as well as some other players have already tested positive before they even get back to their locations. Um, Major League Baseball, the commissioner basically has said he's not 100% sure that they're going to have a season. We know that other teams have been, or players, some of them have voiced concern. The NFLPA is having a conference call, or was supposed to have one at 3:30 this afternoon, on things they need to get done to get back to being open, as far as getting the players and stuff with their safeties, as well as, you know, having being there and being safe. Um, a lot of people think that Corona is a hoax or it's fake or it's not as bad as it's made out to be. And hopefully, you guys are actually right. I actually hope that you're right. But it's one of those things that I'd rather err on the side of caution than risk it. And maybe it's because of my age, you know. I sit here driving down the road and, I'm going about 10 miles over the speed limit. Usually, I'm not completely, it's 55 and I'm going to go 54.9. No, I'm not that guy. But I'm going 65. But then you get that guy who's, going about 90 miles an hour and he's just like zoom in and out of traffic. He's taking all kinds of risks. And, and if you don't get out of his way, he's going to be giving you the finger and everything else. I had one of those happen to me about a week ago. And the funny thing is this guy went, zipping and zooming and everything else, trying to get ahead and driving like a bat out of hell. Literally came within about 2 feet of my front bumper when he zipped on in there. The funny thing is I got off the ramp, the guy's sitting there at the light with me. All that hurrying and all that mess that he made, risking everybody's life, he still ended up in the same spot in the end. And see, that's me, that guy. You know what? Maybe if I get COVID-19, maybe it won't be bad for me. Maybe, just like when I had the strep virus here in my knee and spent 2 weeks in the hospital, 3 knee operations, IV antibiotics for 3 months, and 6 months learning how to walk again. Maybe I'll be okay and survive it. But if I get it and don't know I have it, what about the other people that I might possibly pass it to? Could that be your mother or your father? Could that be your sick cousin? Could that be somebody else? That's the thing about this. So you're going to hear a lot tonight, and that's why we're going to be following along tonight with it, because this isn't anything to take lightly. And you really need to do everything you can. It may not be. It may only increase the odds of, 15%. But if everybody increases 15%, that's a whole lot better than not doing it. So On the other side of this, as we're still learning, there's still a lot that's not known about this. So when somebody comes in here and tells me, "Oh, if you're under 65, you got a 99% chance of coming through this fine," I'm gonna ask you, are you a scientist? Are you a doctor? Have you did the research on this? Because as far as I can tell, the CDC keeps coming out with new stuff on here. And as we see places that are opening up, that haven't been requiring you to wear a mask, we're seeing those numbers going up. I know where I live, they made it mandatory that you're supposed to wear masks in businesses inside. What I do know is this: much everybody says a mask doesn't protect you or anything, my state's finally started going downhill after being one of those ones that blew up. Mine are going downhill. Those of you who say that masks don't help, what's your state doing? What's your state doing? What do your numbers look like? And what you got to realize is it only takes one person for this whole thing to get kicked back up again. Now, on the flip side of this, Zeke Elliott being young, being hopefully in shape, sure, 2-3 weeks, if he comes down with any symptoms at all, he'll be fine. But as we learn more and more about this, maybe he ends up getting an immunity. Maybe he can't get it again. That's the hope. Then at least maybe you don't have to worry about Zeke Elliott in the locker room or towards the end of the season. We don't know who the other player is on the Dallas Cowboys. We had heard that somebody had flu-like symptoms, but it's okay. But we have heard that it's not Dak Prescott. So there's that good news at least. And it's funny. It's funny because the great thing about social media is everybody can put out their opinion, no matter how dumb it may be. But somebody started posting pictures of Zeke Elliott with the alleged Dak Prescott get-together, which was like 2.5 months ago, and said, "Oh, he must have got it from Dak Prescott." Yo. It took 2.5 months. 2.5 months to go ahead and show signs of it. Okay. No, that wasn't the case. Final part on this is, the NFL wants to play. Us fans want to see them play, and we want to be able to go to games. That's a want. Sometimes you can't always get what you want. You've got some coaches, allegedly, that are really concerned that Zeke Elliott, as well as some other players, have come down with it. There's one coach that says maybe we need to delay the season because they see what's going on in some of these other states. Maybe if you're in Maryland and New York and things like that, that has kind of gone downhill, you're okay. But, then you look at places like Arizona and Texas and Georgia and Florida, that the numbers are rising right now, which means there's going to be another peak. There's probably full panic right now in the NFL offices, trying to figure out how are we going to do this. One thing we've already heard is they'll be testing players 3 times a week, and anybody who tests positive will be put in isolation. So, that's where we stand. Hope you guys join me tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern. We'll have the latest on all this. And thoughts and prayers. There was somebody Gate that was in my live stream earlier said that your father has in the hospital with coronavirus. My thoughts and prayers go out to you as well as anybody else who has it. I'll see you tonight.